Let's finish off 2022 with a bang. First, we'd like to thank everyone as a record number of you took advantage of our Thanksgiving 7-day special. We hope you enjoyed the convenience of getting your favorite handicappers plays daily during the hectic holiday weekend. And we also know that December can be a frenzied month with the holidays and all the sports in play. In the spirit of the season and due to the success of the Thanksgiving special, we are now offering a rest of the calendar year special to get every NFL, college bowl game, NBA, NHL, or any other sport your favorite handicapper releases through December 31st for only $1.99. The early bird really does catch the worm for this special as it starts the day you sign up. No coupon is needed and you pay only $1.99 today or pay $1.99 in a few days. The choice is simple. Let's have a great ending to 2022.
Happy Friday, guys. Welcome into Puck Time right here on Wager Talk TV. We are excited about today's show. It is just Carmine and I for today. Of course, 4 games to break down, best bets, and the 6 in 60 segment where Carmine will give you 6 picks for tomorrow's slate in the NHL on Saturday. Carmine and I both cashed our best bets yesterday night in the NHL, and I've hit 4 straight best bets trying to have a week sweep this week with the best bets here on Puck Time. We appreciate all the comments, all the live comments as well, all the views that you guys are giving us this week. The engagement has been fantastic, and it's been a fun show. So I just want to say congratulations to Brian Leonard for cashing his 5% ticket as well. And that was a very similar bet to what, Carm, you had for your best bet on the show, which you also attended that game with the Maple Leafs. So a great day overall yesterday on Puck Time. Of course, today is a new day, but hey, we talk about it when we lose. It's nice talking about it when we're winning. We are on fire right now here on Puck Time, Carm. Let's do it again tonight.
I like that idea. Let's just keep on winning. 3-1 day for me yesterday. The only loss was the Detroit team total as a 2% play over 2.5. Florida played so well yesterday, and you know what I mean. And there was that first game off a road trip. I think that ended. I mentioned in Winnipeg, but they came home, and even though I didn't want to take Detroit to win the game, I thought they would get some goals. They didn't get any goals, but still a 3-1 day overall. And yeah, the Leaf game was pretty good. I placed a few bets on the game before it started. I threw that pizza money bet on William Nylander to score that I tweeted out at plus 170, and he scored. So I was pretty happy about that one. But yeah, no, it was a good game. LA just didn't show up. I didn't see anything out of LA. For most of that game. So if you had the Leafs like Brian did, and I did as far as my regulation time bet, it was pretty much a no sweater start to finish. They just did not look good at all, the Kings. We'll see what they do on Saturday when they play in Montreal, which will be part of the 6 in 60.
Of course they will be, Carm. Of course they will be a part of the 6 in 60, and I feel like you're just always going against my guys. That's I hate to see it. But we'll find out the rest of Carm's 6 in 60 picks at the end of the show. Yeah, I mean that Maple Leafs team right now, Carm. You know what they are at this moment? They are a very, very good regular season hockey team. We'll find out what they can do in the playoffs. It's an 82-game preseason for them once again. But they're looking better than ever right now. They are the number 1 under team in the league right now, or they've been top 5 all year as far as unders.
They're playing well right now. You know what I mean? Like Samsonov didn't get a lot of action yesterday, and not a lot of tough shots on goal at all. I think that was pretty much one of the easiest shutouts you can get. And it's like back-to-back shutouts now for the Leafs. We'll have to see how this translates into the first round of the playoffs, because you just never know who they're going to get. But it's kind of amusing watching some of the sports shows up here in Canada. They're talking about which Canadian team offers the best chance of breaking that Stanley Cup drought as far as Canadian teams go. And a few of the guys picked the Winnipeg Jets. The rest of them were on the Leafs. It's funny the way that goes. But nonetheless, big kudos to Mitch Marner, who got a goal and a point. So that's now 21 games in a row, which moves him on to I think it's about 23rd or something on the all-time list of consecutive point streaks. 5 of the top 7 spots belong to Wayne Gretzky. It's unbelievable. He had, I think it's a 51 game point scoring streak in which he scored 61 goals and 92 assists, something around there. I might be off a goal or two. I was discussing this with our producer yesterday, and it's an insane amount of streaks that Gretzky owns. Ovechkin's trying to catch him for the most goals scored. I don't know if that's going to happen. Ovechkin's probably going to have to play another 4 years, I'm going to guess, and average about 25 goals a season in order to get that. I'm not sure if he's got that much time left in the body.
Yeah, I mean, he just has to keep putting in those empty net goals. I was on Sports Grid a couple days ago, and we were joking around about some of those players that are famous for the empty netters and which teams like to go for them. Well, Ovechkin got one yesterday, and a few players on the Flyers weren't really too happy about it. Or a couple days ago, at least, whenever he's putting these empty net goals in, people don't really like that very much. But, hey, it's all part of the game, and every goal counts the same, and it is great to see Mitch Marner cashing in on those streaks, as well as not just cashing in on the streak, he's also getting goals. It's not just assists for him, which is really nice to see.
If you don't want a player scoring into your empty net, put yourself in a position where you don't need to pull your goalie in order to try and tie up the game. Mr. Philadelphia Flyer fans out there, it's just the way it is. Every single goal counts, whether it's in an empty net, whether it deflects off of something and goes in. It doesn't matter. A goal is a goal is a goal.
Hey, and that's what he's going to tell them as well. No one's going to ask how you scored them when you potentially break a record. Like you said, he'll have to play quite a few more games. Again, we talk about having success, so I will say about a game I had wrong yesterday, and that was the Blues versus Winnipeg game. I just can't figure out the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, I bet on them, they lose. I bet against them, they put up 5 goals. So they're definitely a team that's dangerous right now, and they're finally coming together. If they can stay healthy, they will be a dangerous team out of Canada. And I mean, Winnipeg, Carm, not really much to do in that city. So those guys aren't really getting caught going out to clubs like you are maybe if you're in LA. It's not really too fun of a place to. Well, let's get into the game for today here.
I'm happy. I had Winnipeg as one of my plays yesterday. So
nice.
I bet they went in and took care of St. Louis. We'll see what they do when they're in action tonight. And we'll talk about that as our last game on the card. But let's jump into the first one, Andrew.
Yeah, we're going to talk Islanders, Devils, Rangers, Avalanche, Wild, Oilers, and then the game you just mentioned there with the Jets and Blackhawks. Let's start things off with the Islanders versus the Devils. Always a good matchup when these two teams go head-to-head. Really, no matter what the standings look like, it always seems to be competitive here. The Devils, minus 220. Islanders, plus 180. Minus 1.5 puck line is just plus 125. The other way, plus 1.5 is minus 145. Total at 6 in this one. And Carm, real quick, I just want to say that I've talked about this Devils team, what's made them so great and how it hasn't really just been their offense. You take a look at their defense, how they've been really able to keep the puck out of their own end. And you look across their last 10 games, they've only allowed more than 3 goals one time, and that was in a loss against Nashville. This is a team that's been very impressive defensively, just as much as they have been offensively. Their penalty kill has been really good. And the Islanders, well, they're off a game where they allowed 7 goals, and that's very rare for them to do that. So I actually like the under in this game, under 6. I think some of these teams like the Devils that are playing well offensively, people are sleeping on their defensive ability. So I like the under 6 here. What are your thoughts?
Andrew, I think you have to look at the same way. The line is so high at 220. I just don't lay that kind of a number. And I get the Islanders are probably going to want to bounce back off that absolutely horrible performance that they had. And even with Sorokin in goal, and he was in goal in that game, you expect more of him. He's had a good season. But the problem here is I'm never going to bet against this Devils team until they start to show some form of regression. This team is 18-2 their last 20 games, and you can almost make an excuse for those two games. One game they lost to the Leafs in which they had 3 goals called back. One of them I don't agree with, the one where the player tried to kick the puck across the goal crease to one of his players, but it deflected off of a Leaf player and went into the net, or the goalie's pad and went into the net. So they called that a kicking motion. It was a kicking pass more than a kicking motion on goal. So I'm going to stick to that one. So there's that game there. And then the game in which they lost to Nashville, it was 3-2 with about 15 seconds left. Vanecek goes to put his hand on the puck, and it gets poked into the net by Granlund to tie the game, and then their defenseman gives it away in their own zone, 3-on-3, and it results in a goal in front of the net. They gave that game away. I'm telling you, they have to be unlucky to lose at this point, and that's what they've been. 18-2 is a phenomenal record over 20 games. And again, I'm not trying to I am actually making excuses for how they lost the games, because they weren't outplayed in those games, as well as the Leafs may have played. The Devils deserve better, and while Nashville won, New Jersey was definitely the better team that game. So I'm not gonna jump in front of that train at this point, but I'm not going to lay 220 either. Look at the regulation line, whatever it may be. It's probably going to be too high at 160-ish or so. But I think the under is the play here.
Love that we're on the same page. And I also love that the Islanders are off a game and they allowed a bunch of goals, because they don't usually do that in back-to-back games. So hopefully we'll see a good defensive effort from both clubs in this one, and see probably a low-scoring victory for the Devils. Is what we'll probably both expect here in this one. But it should be a good matchup here on a Friday night. Let's get into the next one. Another New York team here at the Rangers and the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado plus 130, New York minus 150. And, we don't want to put too much emphasis anymore on the injuries for Colorado. I feel like we've touched on it a lot here on the show. But the popular play and the quote-unquote obvious play cashed pretty easily in Colorado's last game, and that was the Boston Bruins against Colorado. I had the under in that game, so I mentioned on the show yesterday, Carm with his team total over for Boston, and my under in the game ended up actually cashing, so we were both able to cash a ticket there. Meanwhile, New York off that big win against the Vegas Golden Knights. I think it's interesting that we are seeing some 5.5s in this game. Look at the roster, Carm. There's a lot of different faces, a lot of different guys for this Colorado team. It's looking like half the AHL roster is playing for them right now. But 5.5 seems light for a New York team that also just came off an exciting game where they scored a bunch of goals. Their defense still hasn't been as great this year, even if Shesterkin does start to get locked in. Do you think we can see goals in this one? And do you think it's a short price on the Rangers, despite Colorado being a good team? They've got lots of injuries still.
Well, I can tell you this: if the total was at 6, I'd definitely be betting the under in this game at 5.5. I want no part of it. And the Avs plus 130 at home. When are you ever going to see that? But it's because of the injuries. McInnis is out for 4 weeks. With that injury. So. It's tough on this team right now, and we saw it in their last game against the Bruins. There's nothing more. This is the Rangers' game to lose, more so than anything else. They just need to play a game like they played in Vegas, a flawless game. Play strong defensively. Don't give anything up. Don't take any stupid penalties, and let Shesterkin see the puck. And they're going to win this game. It's pretty straightforward as far as that goes. Minus 150. This opened at, I think, 135. It's at 150 now, and I think it can go a little higher. I think it might actually hit 160-ish. So with that, I have absolutely no problem, because of the injuries to this Colorado team, of laying a 150 here. We've seen teams go into Colorado and go into Vegas and come out with wins this year. The St. Louis Blues did it. After that long losing streak, they went to Colorado. I think they won, and then they went to Vegas and they won there, or vice versa. But this is the Rangers' game to lose here, and I don't think it's going to happen. So give me the Rangers 150 here.
It's hard to argue it. I mean, the teams that Colorado has to play right now, while they're going through these injuries is just not something that you want to deal with. It's a lot better for a team of their caliber when you're going through an injury problem to at least be able to play a couple bottom feeders, but that is just not the case for them, as they've had to play some really tough teams. They will, coming up, have to play some tougher teams. And of course, the Rangers, they're a team that will not take anybody lightly. They will not take this matchup lightly, despite the injuries there for Colorado, coming off a big momentum win against the Vegas Golden Knights. And from a betting perspective, they were underdogs. And, Carm, full transparency, I'm happy I cashed that under ticket on Colorado's game, but let's be real here. If they scored even one or two goals themselves, that under's in jeopardy, So I said that it's last show, it takes time for a team to show their true colors when they have lots of injuries, but I think it could already start to happen. I mean, I think this game actually could see a bunch of goals. I think we could see Colorado, some guys that maybe not a lot of people know of, make a name for themselves in this game and score a goal or two, but the Rangers are going to get theirs. They're going to get some opportunities and get some shots. And let's not forget, I'm a guy that always talks about depth, but this Colorado team has not looked the same over the years when they haven't had their top guys. So without Nathan McKinnon, they are a different team, that's for sure. And it's hard to be the same team when you're missing a lot of your top players, that's for sure. So hopefully get a good one here, but Carmine and I both looking towards the road team here, and I'm looking towards the over as well. Minnesota Wild and the Edmonton Oilers here, Carm. Oilers minus 130, Minnesota plus 110, total at 6.5. I'll go over to you for your thoughts here on this matchup.
I'm going to make this one as easy as possible, Andrew. Look to see who the starting goalie is tonight. If it's Jack Campbell, I'm going to take the over. I said it on this show. He's listed as probable right now. I don't see any confirmations. I think it's too early. Only 2 or 3 goalies have been confirmed as of now. But if it's Marc-Andre Fleury and if it's Campbell, I'm going to take the over here. I'm going to take the square opinion. 7 straight overs for Minnesota, and they were a team that I was betting unders with at the beginning of the season because they were playing a much better defensive game after getting blown out. I think their first 2 or 3 games of the season, they started to play some very good defense, and their games were trending under. They're now trending over. 7 straight overs, I think, for the Wild right now. And more so, when Jack Campbell's in goal for the Edmonton Oilers, 13 games this year, 10 of them have gone over the total as well, too. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's that simple for me. If Campbell's in net, I'm taking it over. I'm not going to take either side. To use the Pablo phrase again, I don't care who wins. I just want the over.
Well, Carm, I think somebody has to talk with the equipment manager for the Oilers because there seems to be a hole in the glove of Jack Campbell. That's where all the goals are going in. So hopefully the equipment manager is doing his job and making sure that Jack Campbell's equipment is all right and in order, because there seems to be some issues there with him. Also, there seems to be a hole between his legs as well, because that 5-hole doesn't look like he's going down much and making many saves there. So he's just letting goals in everywhere, and it's not good for them. And one thing of note, when you're off a game against a team like the Oilers, a lot of times, I don't want to pull DeMarco and say they're fat and sassy, but you forget how to play defense because, well, against Arizona, you don't really have to play defense. There's not really much, as far as danger for them. Minnesota did beat Edmonton last time out, and like you talked about with Jack Campbell in net, we did see the power play go 2 for 3 for them. It's hard for me not to look towards the over in this game. It really isn't, but I actually might surprise you. I do lean towards Edmonton here in this spot, Carm. I think they can get it done. I think minus 130 is a price I'm comfortable with here, and it's the rapid revenge. I know that you say you don't like that stuff, but I kind of like it, so I think the Oilers get it done.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, Andrew. Both these teams are stringing some wins together, and again, Minnesota did lose in Calgary to break that 4-game win streak, but they have looked good as well too. So you can't blame them. And sometimes it seemed like the Oilers, and I thought, my thoughts on that last Oiler game was that Arizona was going to mail in the 2 points. It was their last game of a 14-game road trip over, I think, a whole month for this team, and they had just played in Calgary the night before and actually looked competitive. I think they only lost 3-2 in that game, but they went to Edmonton the next night. I'm like, these guys are going to mail in the 2 points. I was all over the Edmonton money line there, or sorry, the Edmonton puck line there, and an 8-2 final in that game. So, with that said, still Edmonton scored 8 goals, and sometimes that just sort of pole vaults you, leapfrogs you, pushes you forward, and then you just keep scoring goals, winning games, and we'll see what happens in this game. I think you're right. The Oilers could very well win this game. Could be a high-scoring affair. The only thing again is the Campbell thing. It's such a bad contract. 5 years. $50 million or whatever, $10 million a year. How are they going to move this guy even prior to the trade deadline if Stuart Skinner becomes their go-to goalie and they need an adequate backup? It's unbelievable to see what has happened to Jack Campbell. But with that said, I don't expect them to turn it around tonight against the Minnesota team scoring goals. So we'll see what happens.
It's a lot of money to pay for a backup goaltender, that's for sure. It's certainly a lot of money for a guy that's not seeing the ice. That's why they have to throw him out there. They got to put him in net. And I'll tell you what, Carmen, as far as that Oilers game is concerned, man, I had a buddy of mine that loves doing those same game parlays. As you know, they're advertised everywhere, all over social media now. He's like, yeah, this Oilers game is going to be a really good game for that. I'll tell you what, any combination you made as far as the same game parlay in that Oilers and Arizona game, you probably made money. I mean, Leon to get an assist, Leon to score, Connor to get an assist, Connor to score, this guy to do well, Hyman to score. I mean, everybody scored. Everybody did well. Everybody got lots of shots on goal. I mean, you see all those images over social media where some people put like $20 to make like $1,000. Well, that probably would have been a good game to do it because everybody on the Oilers played really well that game. So if you're fading the Coyotes on the end of road trips, probably a good call to cash in. Are you worried at all about this Oilers team that it is kind of getting back to the old style, though, of a couple guys doing all the work? It's what we've always talked about on the show, and they kind of went away from it, but now they're kind of back to it a little bit.
Yeah, in case you hear some yelling in my background, Andrew, that's probably my wife who's watching the Brazil-Croatia game and didn't close the door to that room there. That game is still scoreless at the moment. But with that said, yeah, I just don't know. This is the thing is I expected more from this Oilers team this season. I thought they would have a much better year, and they just haven't done it. I think they're sitting on 30 points. I thought they had a very good shot of winning the Pacific, but that one right now belongs to the Oilers. To the Vegas Golden Knights, who are on, I think, 39 points. So they're not out of it to win that division, but they're going to have to play a hell of a lot better than they are playing right now. And they're not really even going through a ton of injury problems right now either. So there's no excuse for them not to start stringing some wins together. I'm going to have to do one of those scheduling forecasts for them to see where they are right now. But sometimes you just key on some of these teams that you expect goals from, and you just let the trend take you to where they are. You look at, like I said, like a team like Minnesota, 7 straight overs, and for them, and they're scoring a lot of goals. You look at the Oilers, and there's a lot of goals in their games, especially when Campbell's in goal. Don't try and find an excuse to take the under. You just got to go with what is presented to you. It may seem square, but at the end of the day, money won on a square bet is the same as money won on a sharp bet. It spends the same way.
Hey, it's like Dave Sherapin says, man. Nobody knows shit. Nobody knows that there's no such thing as a sharp or square, any of that stuff. It's all about the win. It's all about cashing a ticket. That's what all matters. And getting a good number, of course, as you can. So last game up here, Winnipeg Jets, Chicago Blackhawks here. This Chicago Blackhawks team has not scored a goal in their last 2 games. They've been shut out there. They're a team that's really struggling offensively. They can't score a goal to save their lives right now. The only teams that they've scored on, really, the Edmonton Oilers, and they actually scored 5 against New York, but that was a really, really weird game. Winnipeg -140 now, Chicago +120, total at 6 in this game. Despite the back-to-back being a position here for Winnipeg, I am going to look towards under 6 here. I mean, on Fridays, you never know what's going to happen. I call it Freaky Friday. We always see some underdogs seem to come out to play on Fridays, but I don't think Chicago can score many goals against Winnipeg, a team that plays very well defensively. Again, another team that, of course, their offense is rolling this season, but a lot of the reason for their success is keeping their opponent to the outside. They're a lot healthier this year than they've been in years past. Their defense hasn't had many injuries. Hellebuck's playing very well. Who's going to score for Chicago besides their top 3 players? I don't think anybody against Winnipeg. And they've proven it in their past couple games that they can't find the back of the net. So I see a low-scoring victory tonight here for Winnipeg. In the worry that they might take Chicago lightly, you could take a look at over 1.5 in the first period, just to think maybe they get off to a fast start themselves, but they might allow a quick one to Chicago. But overall, I just don't think that we could see much from Chicago. I'm going to look towards their team total under 2.5 goals, Carm. I think we're going to see a Winnipeg team that might not, scare them away offensively tonight, but their defense is looking really good. So it might be a back-to-back for them, but doesn't bother me. What are your thoughts here?
Okay, well, I've looked at this game over a few times, Andrew, and it's such an interesting game, and you wouldn't think so with any game that involves Chicago. You might be looking at it and you see, the Winnipeg Jets winning a ton of games, and you're wondering, why are they only $1.40 going to Chicago? Well, number one, you can look at it. They're on the second of a back-to-back, having played last night and won. Number two, this is their third and fourth nights, their fourth and sixth nights. And then number three, it's likely not Hellebuck in goal. It's going to be Riddick in goal. So they're giving you every reason to want to take Chicago based on those stats. But this is a Chicago team who are who have lost 10 of their last 11 games, 17, I think, of their last 20, I think is the number. I'm not going to take Chicago. You can't. I don't care if Winnipeg was playing back to back to back. I think I would still take Winnipeg in the spot. You're getting them at a low price. They're playing well, and when you play well, you're also playing well in front of your backup goalie as well too. I think Riddick is 3-2 thus far on the season. So short sample size with him, just because Hellebuck has been playing well, and they just keep going to him, and they haven't had a lot of these situations where they're playing back-to-backs. I can't take a team that's lost 10 of their last 11 games and hasn't scored a goal in their last 2, getting shut out by the Devils and the Islanders. Winnipeg's playing well defensively. If as long as they come into this game and they put forth even a 90% effort in this game, they are going to win, despite playing their third and fourth nights on a back-to-back and fourth and sixth nights. They're the better team here. I'm going to take them, and you're laying a very small price with them at minus 140.
This is one of those spots where a lot of the scheduling, situational spot handicappers would try and make a case for the Chicago Blackhawks. Like you mentioned, it's kind of a difficult spot here for Winnipeg. Of course, like you said, Big Save Dave might be in the net for Winnipeg. And they have been traveling around a lot and playing some difficult games, but it's hard to see the Blackhawks matching up well against Winnipeg. So take a look at Winnipeg here on the side. We're not falling for it. We think that this is a low price for a reason, but a good spot for us to take advantage of it. I'm going to just look towards the team total under for the Chicago Blackhawks and just take Winnipeg out of the picture and just challenge Chicago to try and get 3 goals. Before we get into best bets, let's jump into the 6 and 60 segment here with Carm. It should be a really good segment besides one pick that's bugging me that he's taking on it. He's fading against my Canadians. But Carm, over to you, my friend.
Who said I was fading the Canadians? I could be taking the Kings. Okay, I said the Kings will be on the card, but it's a smaller Saturday NHL card because we've got a big Friday NHL card as well too. So because there's a bunch of Friday games and some of these teams are playing on Saturday, there weren't overnights on a few of these, but I did get some overnights on a couple of the games, and I know as far as totals go what the numbers will be at, just not the juice on those numbers. So with that said, To my Philadelphia Eagles producer, who is going to be entertaining and watching over Kelly and Ariel this weekend, let's hit that buzzer. Let's hit that 60 seconds and let's go. All right, Nashville and Ottawa, the early game. I love betting dogs in the early games. The Sens played well enough to get the win last night, but lose it in overtime. I'm going to look for them to spring the upset at plus 150 on Saturday. Montreal and LA Kings. LA Kings didn't show up last night. Montreal, first game back off a 4-game West Coast trip. It's the Kings money line. Tampa and Florida. Whenever these two teams meet, it's always a good one. Florida's starting to score some goals. They surprised me yesterday. I'm going to take Florida as a small dog here. Pittsburgh and Buffalo. These two teams play tonight, and then they play again on Saturday. We're going to get the backups in goal on Saturday, over 6.5 goals. The New York Islanders and the Canes. The Canes are going to be rested and waiting for the Islanders, who play tonight in New Jersey. Give me the Canes in this one on the money line. And then finally, Vancouver and Minnesota. Mini 7 games in a row going over the total. This is going to be a high-scoring affair. We're going to go over 6.5. That's your 6 and 60.
Boom. With time to spare. Absolutely love it, Carm. Great plays there. 6 plays for the Saturday slate. Like you mentioned, it's a bigger slate here on a Friday than we usually get, but also sets up for some interesting scenarios with more teams that will be playing on a lot less rest for tomorrow, and some different scenarios like that. So love that 6 and 60. Don't love you going against my Canadians, but it has to happen every now and then. Carm, I hope you go 5-1. I really do. I hope you have a really, really good day tomorrow and crush it as far as that segment is concerned. You can grab both Carm and I over at wagertalk.com. And guys, we really want to put a lot of emphasis on that package right now, the year-end package. You can go to either of our page. There's a special going right now. You can grab the package and you get the rest of our plays across all sports for the rest of 2022. Both Carm and I do several sports, not just hockey. And when you go to wagertalk.com, you always see, one big play being advertised from each handicapper. I'm personally not really a huge fan of that. I love having people on for a couple days or even buy a day pass. That way, if you get my college basketball, you'll get some NFL, you'll get NHL and NBA prop if I release it. Saturdays are always a big day for us. Carm and myself, we both have different things going on tomorrow. And for myself, it's going to be a huge UFC slate. It's an awesome card. I've got a 4% best bet, several plays, including some prop bets, some method of victory wagers, some total wagers. Looking forward to cashing in on. We've got some World Cup, of course, with Carmine. It's going to be a big weekend. So, guys, check out that special, the rest of 2022. It's available at every handicapper's page. And I just really encourage you guys to think long-term, not short-term, and grab those packages. So I'm happy to be running pretty hot. And I've hit 4 straight best bets here on Puck Time. I'm going to try and close it out again with a winner, get the 5-0 sweep for the week here. And I'm going to go with a first period Dawn Buster special, minus a half a goal in the first period with the Vegas Golden Knights. This is a team that is a solid first period team. They always get off to a good start, but especially after a tough loss. They were back home in their last game after a big win against the Boston Bruins. The New York Rangers played spoiler. They took them down. They put a 5 spot up against the Vegas Golden Knights. And I think Vegas responds and has a really strong game. And, oh, yeah, guess who they get to play against tonight? The Philadelphia Flyers, a team that gives up goals, and they're no strangers to giving up first period goals. You take a big favorite, you take them to win the first period, and you get them at plus 120. That is my best bet here for today. Carmine, over to you.
Over to me. Well, while Andrew was talking, see, Andrew, unlike you saying, I hope you go 5-1 on your 6 and 60. I hope you go 5-0 with your best bets this week. I really do, Andrew. I cheer for my fellow co-host to win as many games as possible. But with that said, a very good run, NHL last 30 days, 57 and 30, running really well. 3-1 last night, 4-0 the night before, and 4 plays up for tonight over at Wager Talk. And of course, a World Cup 5% play, which goes tomorrow. So like that 3-day all access, which is $59, will get you the NHL game. It'll get you the afternoon World Cup game that goes today at 2 p.m. The NHL card tonight, that 5% play, and of course, any or the NFL and any NHL on the weekend. So that's a pretty good deal in itself. With that said, Andrew, my best bet's going to be a game we didn't discuss, and I'll make it quick. I'm going to take the Washington Capitals minus 130 at home. It's a very good buy low price against a Seattle Kraken team where regression is finally starting to hit this team. They were on a very good run, scoring goals. They lost their last couple, and now they hit the road. And I don't think they're going to get off to a good start here. This is a nice buy low spot on the Caps, and I'm going to take the Caps here and look for the Kraken to still go through that bit of a regression and start giving some points away. So Caps minus 130 as your show best bet.
I love it. And congratulations to you, Carm, on your start to the NHL season, on a really, really good run there. And the Capitals are a team that I'm looking to bet on as well these days. They're a team that started slow, but they're picking things up. To recap, I have the Vegas Golden Knights in the first period, minus a half goal. Again, guys, if that is a tie, we do not win that one. They have to win the first period, plus 120 there. And Carmine with Washington, minus 130 on the money line. Guys, we want to thank you all for watching. I really appreciate all the support. Puck Time. If you want to support the show, if you want to get any merch, you can go over to shoppucktime.com. We've got hoodies, shirts, coffee mugs, everything to offer there. And I love wearing the shirts and hoodies out and about when I'm around. And other than that, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Let's finish off 2022 with a bang. First, we'd like to thank everyone as a record number of you took advantage of our Thanksgiving 7-day special. We hope you enjoyed the convenience of getting your favorite handicappers plays daily during the hectic holiday weekend. And we also know that December can be a frenzied month with the holidays and all the sports in play. In the spirit of the season and due to the success of the Thanksgiving special, we are now offering a rest of the calendar year special to get every NFL, college bowl game, NBA, NHL, or any other sport your favorite handicapper releases through December 31st for only $1.99. The early bird really does catch the worm for this special as it starts the day you sign up. No coupon is needed, and you pay only $1.99 today or pay $1.99 in a few days. The choice is simple. Let's have a great ending to 2022.